And welcome to the East County Prep Football Report with Raymond Brown of sdfootball.net. I'm Ramon Scott of eastcountysports.com. Take a look at Week 5's action and preview this week's games as well, Raymond. I've come on each week shouting the virtues of the East County. This week I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders a little bit. Maybe we got little bit brought down to earth, but some exciting results last week, and we'll talk about them all in preview next week. What's going on?
Yeah, man, some surprises this week, but some not so surprises this week. But we're gonna get into it. I'm
You're
glad to
right.
be here. It's a great week of football. It's a blessing to be here, man. Let's get this going.
You're right. Actually, the results were pretty good again. Maybe the one surprise or not, because I think we're starting. One thing I'm going to try to talk about this week with you, because now we're just 1 week away from, well, after this week, from league play out here, mostly in the East County, but where the teams stand, because I think we're starting to get some semblance of where everyone stands in relation to the postseason already. Remember, once you get into league play, kind of those matchups, those non-league matchups, they sometimes determine what's going to happen later on, because you figure unless there's big upsets in league play. But we'll talk about it. Let's get right rolling with it here this week with the big one, if you will, the Highlanders going in and beating Cathedral Catholic. Raymond, the story with the Highlanders right now is becoming their strength in the second half. They are touting themselves as highly conditioned, maybe more so than there's probably more experience than last year. That's what I was worried about at the end of the season there. But right now, the Highlanders continue to roll. This was a little bit of a worry early, but not in the second half.
Yeah, they're proven to be a second half team, mainly a fourth quarter team, and they're gonna need it heading into league play because they got some tough games there, and heading into playoffs if they get into the open. So yeah, they're battle tested early. They're well conditioned, well coached. This is a totally different Helix team from last year. Last year's team was pretty good, so we're in for a treat for all the Highlander fans out there.
Yeah, well, it just ended with a thump in that game we were at. So I had but because a lot of the names certainly are still familiar with, those from last year. They have all this talent returning, and Kevin Allen continues to shine right now. 3 touchdowns, 2 of them in the fourth quarter. He finished with 212 yards. Helix outscored the Dons 25-7 in the second half. The Dons fall to 1-4, but you see there they came in ranked 8th. So we know they've played that tough schedule. Jackson Daniels, touchdown reception from Rylan Jesse, and Joshua Hossman Lees, good field goal kicker, 2 field goals that actually extended the Helix lead early on or later on. So a good performance here for the Highlanders. And right now with their 5-0 mark, we're going to get ready and set to get ready to get to league play soon enough. But this Dons team has, Raymond, they've kind of given the Highlanders the business a little bit over the last several meetings. So the Helix Highlanders finally got one over on them a bit.
Yeah, this is becoming sort of like a out of league rivalry for Helix, man. These two teams play each other nearly every year, and it's always a great matchup. Always comes down to the wire. Great games. Helix, they trailed a little bit earlier. I think they were down 21-20, a little bit the second first half, but they came back. They were resilient. They were well conditioned, and they handled their business. And Kevin Allen, he's looking like a player of the year contender, like I've been saying for the past couple weeks. If I was to name somebody to get on the podium right now, Kevin Allen would be one of the leaders. And Rylan Jesse's playing good. Jackson Daniels he's probably another player of the year contender on both sides of the ball. I mean, he's scoring touchdowns. He's getting picks. He's looking great out there at safety. Yeah, man, this Helix team is up there. They could be top 3 or top 4, depending on where you put them above Granite Hills. But they're among that top group, and they keep playing like this. You might have to rank them above Granite Hills until they play each other.
Well, I guess I could ask you now, or we could just go into the next game. It's Granite Hills, but can the loser want to be blunt? Can the loser of that game still be number 4 in the open division? Come playoff time, come announcement time.
That's tough. They probably can. It depends on if they're both undefeated during that time. 'Cause they play at the end, the very last game of the regular season, right?
Yeah, it's at Granite this year, if I'm not mistaken. I can check. But I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah. The loser that could be a 3 or 4 could determine the third seed or the fourth seed. I think that's got to depend on what Mission Hills does because they're in that upper echelon as well. We got to see what the Saints do. I know Granite Hills got the advantage over the Saints because the head to head. So it's a lot of factors, but the way it's looking, if they run the table, that game could decide the 3 or 4 seed
Oh
and
boy.
have both teams going in. So, but we'll see. It's going to get interesting.
Yeah, remember it was Granite Hills that went into Helix last year and got that win on the road. So
It's really in
this year we're
overtime.
and yeah, and again we're not just because the computers have Helix above right now, Granite, but the UT poll still with Granite, so they're right there. I mean, Granite's still the defending champs and all that. All right, Cairo Kananui had a sack, so did Jira Sabanea for Helix as they do the job there. So let's get right into the Eagles. And here we won't look past them because they have that tough matchup this week with the Warhawks. But here they played Central, and I don't. Hats off to Central. Obviously, still very decent, very good, very competitive. I'm shocked that well, they've actually have had their just due of late. I think there's been some talk about how good this team is playing, and the Eagles did not necessarily use any big plays, Raymond. They just kind of used their size and strength and depth to kind of just go down the field consistently on Central. It was not like Central was out athleted to a certain extent. Yeah, maybe the Eagles were bigger, faster, and deeper, but their Central's such a good football team. It was just kind of a battle of attrition with Granite Hills steadily going down the field. Yeah, they stopped Central nearly every time, but I don't know. I'm not saying it was even closer than the score looked. It was just a win by Granite Hills, and they didn't have to look spectacular, even though they
Yeah,
were.
dominant win for the Eagles against a great Central team. That two back system is working for them. Maxwell Turner, 12 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Jackson, aka Pablo, he had over 100 all-purpose yards. He was getting it done receiving and rushing as well. Zach Benitez having a great freshman year. He had 2 touchdowns. So yeah, man, Granite Hills is rolling, man. That offense is doing great. Josh Zander, I think he got his first touchdown of the year or one of them. It's good to see him back. They missed him a couple earlier in the season. So this team is rolling, man. I know we're looking forward to that matchup at the end, but there's also a lot they still need to do before they get there. But yeah, Granite Hills is rolling, man. They're impressive on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Jackson did have a rushing touchdown as well in that one. Tristan Diaz also a touchdown receiving from Benitez at 184 yards. Demarion White had a sack. Parker Vance an interception for the Eagles, and they rolled Central. All right. Raymond, it was a real exciting one here with Santana defeating El Capitan, and I have all sorts of questions. And I saw the games certainly on the network, but for Santana to go in and win this game, it was certainly a surprise, I think, here, but it does lend some credence to the fact that Santana was the promoted team. We talked about, well, Santana's Division 4, but remember, they were the team promoted to the Hills League, and so they get the win here. El Capitan had some mistakes, certainly, and I'm sure they're not happy with 14 points, but the Sultans all of a sudden are 4-1, and, number 2 in division. Mount Miguel Santana, this could be a double meeting, if you will.
Yeah, a great win for Santana, man. I know this is a rivalry game. They say all records and divisions go out the window when two teams that hate each other play each other. This one fit the bill, man. Overtime. Uh, Jaden Goldman, man, what a resilient game for him. I think he had two interceptions in the first quarter. One was a pick six. So for him to come back, bounce back from that, and throw the game-winning touchdown, that's outstanding. That is going to bode well as they get into league play, which is obviously going to be tough. But beating El Cap, man, that's going to give them a lot of confidence heading into the league. And Trent Taylor, amazing on both sides of the ball. Um, had caught 7 passes for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he was great in the return game, over 147 return yards. So, yeah, man, great balanced and resilient win for the Sultans.
Yeah, Taylor had 2 touchdown receptions, a 3-yarder. That was the game winner. And he also had a 10-yarder there. I was checking out. Let me. Good old Max Preps. That's how you get me off the page. I have a commercial. But yeah, they don't meet, Matadors don't meet Santana in the regular season. Remember, they were league rivals previously, so I've kind of measured those two teams. They could end up in meeting in the postseason, and because they are rated so closely, Mount Miguel rated number 1 in Division 4, and Santana number 2, I guess, right about now. So for Santana, Michael, big play, Valenzuela, 65-yard touchdown on a pass. It was G.T. Taylor who had that pick 6 early. I think he might have had both picks. Isaiah Lloyd had 2 sacks for Santana, and Corey Savage had an interception in the game. I think he's with the Vaqueros, but El Cap, certainly they are in position to have a strong postseason as well, no matter what happens in league play with that game against the Matadors. That, well, we'll see. We'll talk about the Matadors in a minute, but now it's starting to draw like who can win that game, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, Goldman, a good job there. That first touchdown, Taylor tied the game at 7-all. And that's what the score was at halftime. And Santana, this is a big, big deal to win this game over El Capitan in Lakeside. A little bit of they were trying to close the gap, it felt like to me, and they have leaped over them. I don't know if it says anything about the way the teams are saddled now in the Hills League and the Valley League. But I talked about the Hills League and the Valley League teams hadn't been meeting at all for several years. And we'll look at this week's schedule and this game here. There were several matchups this season between the two leagues, including this one, Raymond, the Hamashaw helmet. Of course, it goes to Steel Canyon once again here with a 26-12 victory over Valhalla. A good win for Steel Canyon, but I think Valhalla can be proud of their effort. A 2-touchdown margin, maybe that's what it was expected. I don't know. Maybe we were expecting it to be a little bit larger margin. So I'm giving Valhalla some credit here in this one, Raymond.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as moral victories. I know they wanted to win this game more than any of them. This game ain't happened since 2019, so I know they wanted to get that Hamashaw helmet and turn their season around. But Steel Canyon has looked like a totally different team these past 2 games. I'm really impressed with the way they played. Jonathan Sablon, another great outing from him. 25 carries, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On defense, Manny Saka had 13 tackles. Nico Jara is just a playmaker, returned a kickoff for a touchdown. Yeah, had an interception.
It was a free kick, actually, Raymond. It was after early in the game, Valhalla had snapped their punt back through the back of the end zone, and they took a free kick, and he returned it back 75 yards. So I'm trying to add up the different ways.
Oh, okay.
Nico Jara has found his way to the end zone.
Yeah, he's having an amazing year.
He's had punt, kick, and now a free kick.
Yeah, versatility is why Steel Canyon has won these past 2 games. His versatility, defense is playing great. Offensive line have all played great all season, and they're helping get the running game going. So great win for Steel Canyon.
How about this? The Taylor family checking in here. I was wondering, I thought I was like trying to when they said his name on the telecast, I know I saw it on the roster and I said, GT, I said, I wonder if it's a abbreviation for a name. So Gavin with the return, and I hope I got it right. Yeah, I thought I read in the play-by-play. Now I was watching the game. I was watching a couple games, but in the play-by-play it said that he had the other interception early on. Maybe it was two interceptions. Maybe you mentioned there were two interceptions in the first quarter, and I don't know, but I think Taylor may have had them both.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he actually DM'd me both of those interceptions that he had. He
oh,
said they were both
okay,
in the first quarter, so I can confirm those
understood.
were both him. Yes,
Great. Yeah, I want to make sure we got that right. That's what we do here on the show, right? Is try to
right.
single these teams out. So here's the great news for Valhalla, right? We know uh, once we get into league season, yeah, some of those games we tough. We look forward to the teams that they'll compete against as well. But they're in Division 5. They're number 4 in their division, right? So Valhalla could be battling here with the Braves in the postseason. And Steel Canyon, looking at this, they're actually in a bit of a predicament against in Division 2. Raymond, they're currently 12th, so you figure they might actually need to make sure they beat their league opponents that they can beat, mainly the Foothillers, maybe the Wolfpack, and maybe the Sultans, because if they slip up there a little bit, that could be costly to their standing. It feels like to me, you got to win the games you're supposed to win, and not lose the ones you're underdogs in. So, I hope I said that right. All right, good job for Steel Canyon. They moved to 3-2. Well, the Braves did it again. They beat Claremont in this one. It was 35-7. They're the top team in Division 5, Raymond. They're actually expected to, be pretty strong in the postseason here. Do you have anything on the Braves?
Yeah, they're off to their best start since like 2016 when they started out 5-0. So congratulations to El Cajon Valley turning things around. A great win over Claremont. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from El Cajon Valley, and they're getting it done. These are usually games that they lose, so nice to see a turnaround from that program.
Oh yeah, it's been a good 2.5 years now. Things keep going well. The Braves are 4-1. Paris Dixon had a 31-yard touchdown reception. Derek Dubose had a couple of rushing touchdowns for the Braves as they handled Claremont as expected. They were big favorites, and they get it done here. So, as expected, big win for the Braves. How about it? All right. Interesting one here, Raymond. This was on Saturday, and you were talking about needles, and Christian went up there. Man, did you see the complex at Needles? They play in an indoor, and it's kind of like not a stadium. It's kind of like a not a barn or any, like a aluminum, like a facility, right? Like and the football stadium is indoors on some
Oh wow,
astroturf, so it looked really cool in there. Looked like
like
a
the
great,
Kibble Dome.
yes, very much so. Yeah, only the
Okay,
stands were
I
only
love the Kibble Dome, so that's nice.
the stands were like on one side a little bit, and I just saw some great pictures of it, but it looked really kind of neat in there. I don't know how it went as far as comfort or the aesthetics of it, but Christian didn't seem to mind. They beat Needles 40-6 here in this one. Raymond.
Yeah, Dylan Eads had 6 catches, 163 yards, and a touchdown. A great performance from him. It's like a tight end / wide receiver. Very great player. He has a brother on the team who's a great player as well. So congratulations to Christian, man. They need this. They needed a big win like this to moving forward.
Yeah, his brother, he had a fumble return for a touchdown. He also had a receiving touchdown from Spencer Johnson, who had 243 yards and 3 touchdown passes. He also threw a touchdown pass to Jake Marsh. So Christian's having some ups and downs here, but this was a pretty good win. Gage Humora, Chase Torgerson, a couple of sophomores, I believe, had rushing touchdowns. Ryder Jennings had a sack. Christian, they'll also have their work cut out for them in Division Two. They right now sitting in 11th place, so they'll need to have a good league season to keep their standing and even move up a little bit here. Okay, so there were some bummer results, but here's the one. Okay, yeah, we were talking up Mount Miguel. Everybody's ready to go. Mount Miguel, Mount Miguel. Going up to play a Division 2 team. Now we do expect. We already said, oh, Mount Miguel is going to continue to grow this thing. They're going to end up having to move up a division or two in the years to come if they're going to be this good and attract some talent as well. But here against the Bishops team that had been underachieving, maybe it looked like so far this season, but maybe that class difference a little bit with Division 2 against Division 4 came into play in this one.
Yeah, this was a great win for Bishops. Way to get your first win of the season against an explosive Mount Miguel team, holding them to just 13 points, holding them to just 2 big plays. Yeah, this was a bit of a stunner. I mean, I know that's hard to say. A D2 team beating a D4 team is a stunner or an upset, but that's the way it looked. And yeah, I talked up on Mount Miguel. I've been hyping them up all season, but they deserve that hype. Every dog has its day. They met their match. Bishops played a great game. They set the tone early with an interception by Brady Fagan that set up a touchdown run to Ruben Gutierrez III. They tied the game. The game was tied at the half, so it was a pretty close game. But they just they hung around to the end, man. That touchdown at the end by Cash Ferreira to Ian Brown, that was a demoralizing game clincher. But yeah, I think Mount Miguel is gonna learn from this and bounce back, man. Sometimes they say the losses can be the best thing that happened to you. Now I know they didn't want to lose; they wanted to run the table and keep the hype going. But sometimes we fall, and we got to learn from those lessons. So hats off to Bishops, and I'm still looking forward to seeing how Mount Miguel responds to this.
Yeah, Mount Miguel's still number 1 in Division 4 right now, so we'll see. And of course, they'll does bring into question a little bit how they will compete now against El Cap. It looked like they had kind of passed them a little bit. We'll see now, but nonetheless, Mount Miguel ran into a Bishops team where their passing game is improving rapidly, and obviously the defense, if you can hold Mount Miguel to 13 points. Jeremiah Castillo had a 65-yard touchdown reception that tied the game at 7-all. It was 7-all at halftime. Barton to Williams late, 35-yarder, but it was, I believe, too late at that point with Bishops getting the upset here, and Bishop's attracting a little bit of attention here with that one. Okay. Sweetwater here, they really got their running game going. It seems like every year they might start slowly and then they pick up steam. Yes, they were playing our Monarchs that have just 1 win here, but back to Sweetwater's old tricks, they had 459 yards rushing, averaging 11 yards a carry.
Yeah, this is vintage Sweetwater. That's how they beat you. They had 2 running backs go over 150 yards. Xavier Cruz, 165 with 2 touchdowns. Izell Wright, 171 with 3 touchdowns. Man, what a win! And they even held Monte Vista's rushing attack to just 55. So great win on both sides of the ball. They got their run game going the way they wanted to. First win of the season. And yeah, I don't know what to say about Monte Vista. After getting their first win, they turn around and do this. I don't know, man, but great win for the Sweetwater, and hopefully Monte Vista can figure it out.
Yeah, I felt like it was going to be kind of an even match, like 2 teams that kind of, I don't know if they mirror one another, but they certainly have the same philosophy. Okay, we had a big loss here. I'll just mention Vincent Memorial beat Mountain Empire. Isaac Gonzalez, 142 yards for the Red Hawks against the Scots. That's a tough game for them. And In 8-man ball, Foothills Christian. This was a league opener actually in the Ocean League, the only league game so far. 58 to 8. What do you know about the Knights?
Yeah, Cameron Brown. I noticed it's 8-man football, so they don't get as much recognition. But Cameron Brown's been balling under the radar. This week he's had 14 carries for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns, and even had an interception on defense. So he's been playing real great for Foothills Christian. A great win to open up league play.
Yeah, Ben Hernandez, 166 yards of total offense. He counted for 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground. He threw for 1. Also, Ethan Harrell had a sack, 6 solo tackles. Josh Hawkins, a touchdown. Logan Hamilton, Hunter Hamilton, both with touchdowns. Foothills Christian will take on, we'll get to it. They'll take on Calvin. I'll tell you in a moment. Tell you in a moment about it. All right, Raymond. Here we go this week. Raymond, you're looking at what happened here in the games this week and how the teams, we have some teams kind of debuting here, 3 different teams, and we don't see some of the other teams that maybe I was expecting to see in this still up there. So I don't know. It just seems to me like the voters saying, hey, let's just try a new flavor here, not necessarily taking into account the level of, I'm talking about at the bottom. I mean, I don't know if you have any other change necessarily at the top here. El Camino is kind of getting up there a little high right now. We know Cathedral has just a 1-4 record, but they look to be right in position here. So I'm sure you haven't changed much at the top. It's more the bottom. Del Norte, that does seem to be okay right now. They seem to be the fastest climber right now in the computers as well.
Yeah, Del Norte is playing great. They beat some very great teams. Poway is a great win for them. The only team they lost to was La Costa Canyon, who is up there as well, number 6,
right,
making their way. So, yeah, my top 6 is exactly the same. Let's see. I think Madison's number 7. I got them at number 8. I got Cathedral at number 7. I got El Camino at number 9 and St. Augustine at number 10. So that Avocado League is going to be a bloodbath, man. It's Carlsbad. Hopefully they watch out because they got some teams coming for them that's going to give them an exciting game.
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be great right now. Look, I don't want to mention it here on our show necessarily, but just couldn't help but think about the struggles that Tyler Buckner went through, and I think of saying and his target there to Alabama, and I'm like, man, maybe we want to reconsider with Alabama having such quarterbacking woes, right? Maybe he'll go save him. Maybe maybe he will be.
Yeah, he could probably start. He probably start as a true freshman the way things are going now. But yeah, I wanted to see Tyler Buckner do good so bad, but yeah, when you can't perform against South Florida, Alabama, they ain't going for that.
I felt like I was watching a game on Mars there after a while. Like I'd never seen football on TV. Once the delay came and the storm, and they had to move the cameras around. All right, let's see. I think I had something else here on the Army Navy. They probably deserve a little bit of recognition. I don't know about 12th in the county. I know this is probably as strong as the team's ever been. They're probably going to make a great run. I think they're even are they a state title contender in their division? I mean, they certainly have the talent, kind of unprecedented talent for their program over the years right now.
Yeah, unless something crazy happens, they have to be the heavy favorite to win the 5AA. They have like 5 players who got D1 offers, so they probably belong in D3. I don't want to give them too much hype. We seen what happened with Mount McGill, but yeah, they're playing well beyond their division. They're playing great. They haven't been scored on yet. They're beating teams like 40 and 50s to nothing. So yeah, they deserve the recognition. I don't know if I want to call them a top 15 team, but they deserve to get those votes. So I won't go against it. But yeah, I don't know about that.
that Del Norte was. I think that was like a 1 point game. Where that Poway game was close, right? So
Yeah.
where's Ramona? Where's Torrey Pines? Where's San Marco? Right. I mean, I'm looking at these teams. I look, great job, La Jolla Country Day. You're back. Chula Vista. You got someone voted you in there, but I'm talking
They
about.
play Army Navy. That's going to be a tough game for them. That's probably
Yep.
going to be their toughest game of the year.
Well, I get
Well,
it,
we'll
but
see.
I've got Ramona, Torrey Pines, San Marcos, La Jolla, uh, still Mission Bay, even with the loss. That was a close game. Point Loma, probably all better than these teams at the bottom here right now. Oceanside probably deserves to be up. I don't know about 13th, but they certainly deserve some notoriety there. So, all right, I'm calling the voters out a little bit here on this one.
Yeah, I don't think the voters give much credit to strength of schedule. They look at the record and be like, "Oh, okay, they're top 10 because their record looks nice," but they don't take it. They'll down a team like Mater Dei or Cathedral because they have losing records. But those schedules, I mean, if no disrespect, but if you give Army, Navy, Cathedral, or Mater Dei schedule, I don't think they're going to be 4-0 right now. I'm just
Yeah.
keeping it real. So,
No doubt,
yeah,
and there's right. You could do worse, and I mean, a lot of. I'm not saying these folks or these some of the voters or even people who talk about football. Uh, look at the records, like you said, but that computer, people make fun of it, but it's more right than wrong, especially I think when it comes against comparing it to the eye test uh, rankings. Okay, let's get into this week here, Raymond, and take a look at the matchups because we do have a big one here with Madison going up against Granite Hills. I think it's interesting because we just saw the Helix Granite Hills game, and this one, Granite Hills has had some good matchups with Madison here uh, in the last few years. Certainly, some great games, some exciting games, some wild games. You were at one of them, if I'm not mistaken, and the Eagles are still going to be a pretty substantial favorite here, a significant favorite, I guess I could say, at home against Madison. But you can't put it past the Warhawks at all.
Yeah, Granite Hills is definitely one of those teams that has a great strength of schedule, and their 4-0 is actually a legit 4-0. Last year, Madison won this matchup 15-12, pretty close, just one of two losses for the state champions. To me, this is a battle with two of the top safety tandems in the county. Madison got Martell Hughes at free safety and Titus Tololo at strong safety. Granite Hills got Jordan Glaze at free safety and Nokio Maddox at strong safety. Those are four of, to me, the top safeties in the county, and they're going to be sharing the field on Friday. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. Plus, there's it's going to be a battle of great run games. You got Jalen Brown running the ball pretty good for Madison. You got two people, Turner and Jackson, running the ball for Granite Hills. It's going to be a great game. Madison, as far as their open division chances, they're hanging on by a thread. They really need this win, and they need to run the table in order to get that fourth spot. So this is going to be a big game for them. Granite Hills, they got to keep filling up that resume with great teams. They got a tough outing ahead of them. So this is going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, I mentioned I'll call out. I don't know if I can call out a computer. I mean, it's a computer, but both the projections had this game in the mid 50s, Raymond. I don't see that being the case. If there was 27 points last year, and you're talking about strong secondaries, it's going to force these teams to run. The Eagles can run. You mentioned their great tandem, but it seems to me like the winning team's going to be getting 20, and maybe the losing team might be stuck with 17 or close to 20. But I don't think I don't know if the Eagles are going to get into the 30s here against Madison, even at home. Are they?
You never know, man. This Eagles team never ceases to amaze me. So yeah, if they can get the run going and they can get the passing game going too, Josh Sanders coming back is a big deal. You also got some other key receivers in that offense. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough game. I think it might go down to the wire like the St. Augustine game did. So we'll see where it's going to be exciting. I know that much.
If it does, that would be points for Madison. I would say those computers have the Eagles favored by a couple of touchdowns this week, and that's probably what they should win by if they want to keep their current trajectory, if you will. Even with Madison's tough schedule, they maybe didn't do as well as maybe they expected in those two losses. So Eagles are favored to win. I'm gonna take them to win here. You
Yeah, I
got
got
them to
Brandon
win,
Hills as
don't you?
well.
All right,
Yes.
all right, all right. Hey, this one's for the Tony Burner Memorial Trophy, and they're still going to play this one. Said, you know what? Valley and the Hills League weren't playing each other. Here's Valley and Hills League. They were league rivals in these previous occurrences for the Tony Burner Trophy, but now as non-league combatants, they'll continue this series, of course, right now. So El Capitan off the loss. West Hills, uh, look, they didn't look good in that loss, but they throw it out the window, I guess. El Capitan is supposed to be the favorite in this game, but I would guess it's going to be pretty close if it's at West Hills.
Yeah, I got El Capitan as a favorite as well, even though I was wrong about them their last two games. But El Capitan really need this game, coming off a disappointing loss to La Jolla, and then wait, I'm sorry, they didn't lose to La Jolla. I'm tripping. Coming off of Steel Canyon. I'm sorry, my brain's scrambling up here. Coming off a disappointing loss to Steel Canyon, and then turning around and losing to your rival in overtime, you got to win this game against your other rival, especially getting ready for league play. I think El Cap turns it around this time, man. I think they're just too talented not to beat West Hills. The West Hills team I've seen play against Patrick Henry, I don't know if they can compete against El Cap, who has a much more explosive offense. They just ran into two hungry teams, but I think we're going to see the return of Brent Barker and his connection with his explosive wide receivers.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that because to me, when I think about El Cap's loss to the West Hills loss, especially in the fashion that they lost to Patrick Henry last week, it was more stunning than El Capitan's loss to Santana. But then you have the fact that here El Capitan losing at home to Santana, one of the two promoted teams to the Hills League, and now here's West Hills, the other promoted team, and they're at home against them. And West Hills has been, I think, slightly better than Santana over the last couple of seasons here. So I think that throws a little bit of a wrench in it as well. Now, maybe West Hills has not achieved offensively like they have, but defensively, they're still doing pretty well. Maybe Henry Henry is improving somewhat rapidly. I don't know if it was worthy of the type of offensive display they put on West Hills. They looked like the much faster team in that game. Out, obviously we'd have to contain La Chapa. Just a good matchup here. I almost want to take West Hills just giving them a chance at home. I agree. I think it's an upset if West Hills wins, and I think El Capitan is slightly favored. I feel like I should go with them. Who did you pick again?
I'm going with El Capitan.
All right, I'll take West Hills for the sake of argument.
It's a rivalry game, so it could go either way. They're playing for that Ron Burner Trophy. I know that means a lot to both programs. So this could be another thrilling overtime game if El Cap don't watch it, but I don't see it going that way.
Oh, it certainly feels like, and it feels like, look at these scores, right, between these. Now, I know 21-14 last week, but that was still 14-14 at half. It just feels like this one is going to be it feels like a low-scoring game to me. The winner, 2 touchdowns to 3 touchdowns, somewhere in there. Maybe it's a field goal, 20-17, 21-17, 17-14. Just somewhere right in there is what it feels like this one is going to be as well. So El Capitan, they're like I said, they're doing okay. They're number 4 West in their division, but West Hills is number 6 in Division 3. So they'll be looking okay in the playoffs. They could improve their standing. Okay. Uh, Here is another Hills League versus Valley League contest. Now it looks a little bit like a mismatch to a certain extent. We're still learning about Grossmont, and we were surprised that they actually stubbed their toe a little bit. They were remember they I don't know they were competing against Mount Miguel in that game for the first 12 or 15 minutes before it got away. So they'll be expected to win pretty handily here against Monta Vista, probably by several 3, 4, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, Grossmont coming off a much needed bye week. Monta Vista coming off a disappointing loss to Sweetwater. It's gonna it, I don't know, man. I got Grossmont winning this one. They're coming off 2 straight losses. They got I'm sorry, Josh Zander. If he returns from injury, he's playing a great game. He's got 4 interceptions, which is 5th in the county. Cody Bigley, 546 receiving yards, actually 2nd in the county this year. And hopefully Herbert returns. He got hurt in the game against Mount Miguel. They had 2 weeks to heal and bounce back. So I got Grossmont winning this decisively.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just want to see Monta Vista. They'll try to put you into a slow down game a little bit here. Grossmont cannot afford a slip up, Raymond. They're probably of all these playoff scenario teams that I'm discussing to try to make sure we know exactly where they stand. Grossmont is in a very precarious situation at number 12 in the division. So any kind of slip up in a game, look, they actually may need to win one of those games against, or make Santana and West Hills to make sure they get their playoff. You can't lose a game like this. Obviously, I don't think they will, but they're going to be needing to win a game somewhere along the line. It feels like that they might be in a toss-up to assure getting the playoffs. Otherwise, they might be sitting on the bubble at the mercy of one of the other teams. Okay, here we have. This is interesting because I think you can look at the previous matchups here in this. We have Valhalla at Christian here in this one. Valhalla, Christian is going to be favored in this game. I just kind of want to give Valhalla a chance here off of some of their performances so far, and maybe because of them being the bigger school, they can compete. Christian is a pretty big favorite here, though, Raymond. Probably 4 touchdowns.
I kind of want to take Valhalla with the upset special. I still like their run game. Dominic Silva, he's number 2 in rushing with 772 yards. Also number 2 in touchdowns and points. So if they could get him going and get that run game going, I think they have a chance. But Christian's been playing good as well. That blowout win at Needles, wherever that's at. Oh, in Needles, I'm sorry. To win a big game on a road like that can bring heavy confidence coming back home. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think Valhalla pulls off the upset, if you want to call it an upset.
Oh, I would call it an upset big time here at Valhalla wins. Look, Steel Canyon beat Valhalla 26-12 last week. So that was a good performance there in that one. But for me, I look, I'm impressed at Valhalla so far, actually, with their 2 victories. And Christian has had a little bit of a surprise in one of their losses, but the computer says 4 touchdowns, and maybe it could be within 2 scores. So maybe Valhalla can keep it within 2 scores here. All right. Mel McGill is going to get a chance to get back here, but still got to go up to the North County and take on RBV in this one. They're going to be pretty substantial favorite as well by more than a couple of touchdowns for sure.
Yeah, Mount Miguel needs this one. This is going to be a good bounce back game. Rancho Buena Vista, don't let the record fool you. They're going to come in hungry, desperate to get that first win. They know, I'm sure they know what type of team Mount Miguel is. But I think Mount Miguel bounces back and put up some points against this team. I think Mount Miguel wins this one.
Yeah, they'll win this one for sure. Maranatha Christian's going to take on Mountain Empire. That should be a pretty close game. I didn't have too much info on it. Maranatha probably a slight favorite here, but I just want to touch on Foothills. They're going to play their rival here, Calvin. They've had some crazy games with Calvin. This is a league game this week. You have Foothills. They already have a league win. They're averaging 46 points a game, Raymond. Calvin's averaging 53 points a game. There could be 100 points scored here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Cameron Brown having another good game here. I honestly couldn't tell you who's going to win this one. I'm going to go with Foothills Christian. No.
It actually, yeah, it could be actually. Calvin gives them a tough time. Foothills Christian allows 14 points a game, and Calvin's allowing 23. So we'll see on that one. Foothills is probably expected to win by a couple of touchdowns, but on the road against Calvin, some things have happened in the past. Crazy things have happened in the past. All right. Appreciate you. Let's see if I can get your players of the week up here. Is what I'm thinking, and we can take a look and see maybe which East County players were on your list this week. I think I can bring it up here and not take up too much of our time, and share with our fans the top players as you kind of are recruiting for your top 23 players. Also, it's this season, right? Or is it just every week, or is that a season award? Your top 23.
Is it? In 23. That's a weekly.
These are the top 23 each week. Gotcha. Yes. Okay. Kevin Allen's on that list with his big performance there. You mentioned 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cameron Brown gets a call from you as well. And Isaiah Lloyd, you mentioned his big game for Lloyd, 6 tackles, 3 sacks, forced fumble, 1 interception, sold popcorn, took tickets, picked up the equipment. Great job for Isaiah. And let's see, did you have honorables? Here they are. Honorable mentions this week. Isaiah Concha of Steel Canyon on the list. Dylan Eads up there. Jaden Goldman as well. Pablo Jackson also on the list. Trent Taylor, Max Turner, lots of East County guys up there, and Isaiah getting his picture taken on the sheet. So appreciate you, Raymond, doing this as always this week. You're making you're always ready to go. You're kind of like the late John Clayton. You're ready to go at a moment's notice, and then kick back with your headphones and listen to some tunes, and enjoy. Appreciate you so much. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you for having me, man. Always a blessing to be here.
All right. For Raymond Brown, I'm Ramon Scott. Join us next week. More East County Prep Football Report.